Welcome to It's Upgrade Season, the only place to get raw and unfiltered advice on how to get your shit together 1 week at a time. I'm your host, Alexandria, and join me every Monday for The Upgrade and every Friday for The Wind Down, where I'm going to be answering your dilemmas. Small shifts, huge upgrades. Let's fucking do this. Welcome to The Wind Down. I was just joking. This is where we kind of just like spill the tea, but you literally spilt. You literally spilt the tea physically.
That's very on brand, actually, for me. Literally. So I
Where's
stood
the tea
up.
towel?
Where's the tea towel when you need one? Shall I move this? Oh, I didn't need to, did I? Sorry. I literally just stood up and knocked my tea over, and the three of us shot up. We were like, oh my gosh, a spillage. Somebody get something. And what's your name? I'm so sorry. Irene. Right. And Irene, who's working in the studio, is like, don't worry about it. Leave it. We'll get it later. We were like, no, please, Irene. She was like, okay, well, I can get some tissue if you want. We were like, if you could, Irene, we'd feel a lot better. And then lovely Vita's mopping it up, and Alex is like a Labrador at a duck pond. She's like that. Let me help. I need it. Vita's like, don't worry about it. Like, I've got it. Like, it's not a 2-man job. It's fine. I'm just mopping this up.
It would make me feel better if it was, though.
Yeah, I was like, receive.
Yeah.
Just receive it. Allow Vita.
Yeah.
I'm allowed. It's my tea.
Yeah.
If anyone should be offering to help. But like that for me, and I know we've talked about this in the podcast, that's the people pleaser.
Yeah.
I think for me, that's that part.
No, it still is here for me. And I think, and it's funny, we spoke about self-worth. I've definitely had to go on this self-worth journey. It looks slightly different, but like it's definitely that's part of it still for me. I think, fuck, if I do that and then I'm not helping, what will people think?
Yes.
And I can't have them doing it. And then, because me and Vita work together, I'm like, I can't have Vita thinking she needs to mop up the tea. Like, it's like all these. And like, Vita doesn't give a shit. Like, I really doesn't give a shit.
Vita knows you.
Yeah.
Vita knows you're not that kind of person. She knows that you're not.
I was going to joke that I am that type of person.
Turns out, actually, it's all a front.
I'm a fucking dick, honestly.
She's horrible.
She's awful.
Off at the moment the mics and the cameras go off, she's slinging coffee up the wall. Vita, get me this. Avocado on toast. All of this.
Avocado sourced from.
Yeah. I only want Colombian.
Vita's been up since 3 a.m. sourcing things in London.
Sure, bless her. Vita's like nearly crying.
To be fair, she did bring me a matcha the other day, and I nearly cried with gratitude.
A what? A match?
A matcha. It was early.
Oh, a matcha.
It wasn't that early. It was 8 o'clock. But like,
I thought you meant one match.
Then
I thought you meant like like a Tinder match. I was like, wow, imagine that.
She sources men for me.
Yeah, Vita, I just need a little someone this afternoon.
Here's my criteria.
Yes.
My poor husband.
Get me a match.
We did watch, this was quite awkward actually. I watched Louis Theroux the other night. Fucking love Louis. Yeah. But he did one on non-monogamy, which, fine, great. But I watched it with my mum, my husband and my mum.
Oh.
And it really opened some conversations, let me tell you. But it was fascinating.
Yeah.
It was really...
An amazing dynamic for you.
Yeah.
Watching it with your mum,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Watching it with your husband, right? Them both together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was it?
Do you know what? I was surprised how not open. My mum wasn't making it sound like she's into it now. But she was very non-judgmental, which I was like, fair play to you, because even I struggled with some of the concepts, shall we say. But it was great because it really just spark a debate. And then the next morning we would talk about it still. And then she kept joking that she'd not spoken to my dad about it yet. So who knows?
Yeah.
I could come back and I've got another dad when I...
Look at that. Go on, Mum.
Yeah.
Nice.
But we were talking about receiving. And you brought up a scenario, which I think is one that a lot of people struggle with.
Well, I think it's just very hard when I think it's very hard to ask for help and to receive that help.
Yeah.
I think even if we know, I think it's still hard for us to stand back and let somebody mop our tea up and go, thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, I really appreciate that. That was amazing. And I think if we can change that, I think that can really open something up for us because, like, in all seriousness, Vita knows you're not horrible. She knows that you're kind and you're lovely and you're fair and all that kind of stuff. So one incident, but I can totally understand it. I have been out with people and come home and just replayed every conversation. Like, actually, was I really weird? Do they think I'm really creepy? Like, how am I going to make it up to them? You really like going, well, next time I see them, I'm going to say this, or maybe I'll buy them a coffee, or maybe I could do this, or I can orchestrate it so when the lift's open, I'm stood there, and then it's like, oh, hi, and I'll fix it that way. All that energy. And actually, I think rather than doing that, we need to remember who we are. We need to remember we've not got ill intent. And also, and I think this has been a huge piece of learning for me, we can get it wrong. Like, it's okay to make a mistake. It's all right. And take that personal responsibility. But also, I think, recognize that it's not... this isn't all about me. I think and it's a hard line to tread because you can come away from something going, oh, I think I really, and then you think, well, actually, okay, what was their role in this and what was my role in that? And that's been a big adjustment. But what we actually really wanted to talk about was receiving, because I found when I got married, and particularly around my hen do, but also around the wedding and everything, it's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot to receive. And I'm somebody... I do like a bit of attention.
I love this about you.
I do like to be in the limelight. Like, I'm not going to pretend I don't. But actually, I even for me, in that moment, I was like, wow, this is a lot. And I had I had like a breakdown on my hen do. Like, I remember crying, and I had like a fake eyelash here, like I just sort of sobbed it all off, because it was such a lot to go, wow, these people are all here for me. They've all traveled, they're all staying the night, they've all got dressed up for me, they've all planned this ahead of time. And I just think it's really important to honor that and to really stand in devotion of it, actually, because it's it's hard. I think it's a really hard thing to do. And I think it's okay to know that it's hard.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I think what you said then about it not being about you also really applies, because when you're talking about that scenario, when I'm thinking about it, like, I've just been on a hen do for my friend, I was fucking buzzing to be there. I was like so honoured to be invited to be part of that, and like so buzzing to celebrate her. And all I wanted to do was be like, how can we make this weekend fantastic for you? You know, like, what would you enjoy? What would be amazing? And just be part of that energy. And also, I'm not going to lie, at this point in my life, I fucking love an excuse for a girls' weekend. I'm like, please sign me up. But and it's interesting because, like, you're thinking, God, it's a sacrifice, it's this.
Yeah.
And
well, you don't want to be an inconvenience. No. I think that's what it comes down to as well. You don't want to burden anyone. I don't want to get in the way. And I think it is, sadly, I don't want to sort of... I don't want to generalize this, but I think it is a female thing, because we're constantly told, don't take up too much space, don't be too loud, don't show off, don't threaten anyone, and I think taking up, if you are going to take up space, part of that is like, oh gosh, but I don't want to upset anyone. And I'm a bit fearful. And I
what
think
if someone else doesn't like that though?
Exactly. What if they're upset? What if it rocks the boat a little bit? I've been terrified of that for most of my whole life. I've been a people pleaser forever. I mean, it's only I'm in recovery now from it, and it's hugely liberating to let go of it though. Like, it's so delicious.
I feel like I'm asking you to be my therapist now, but like I'll
try,
Sarah.
babe. I've got no qualifications, none.
We joked, so we'd run out of dilemmas for this section, and then I was
solved them all.
We've solved them all, but I'm like, I've got some dilemmas. Can you solve my dilemma?
Yeah, come on, let's try.
Now we're talking about this, I realise I fake receive a lot. So I've got good at fake receiving. So I will let someone do something or be grateful someone's doing something, but inside, you know that swan analogy where the swan looks calm on the surface but they're flapping underneath? I think I'm really good at fake receiving.
Why? What makes you uncomfortable about it?
Well, I know technically it's good for me to receive and that I need to. And like, part of me obviously desires that. And I do think there is also a feminine urge to be like, to receive. And I'm not talking necessarily about gender, but like that kind of like energy of just like allowing yourself, because we can't be controlling all the time and gripping on all the time and doing all the things. And
it's very stressful.
It's stressful and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So I think I know mentally it's good to receive, but I think internally I do still have that narrative of feeling quite guilty or feeling like I need to make that up to that person.
Yeah, okay.
I need to redress the balance.
So it's more about making that person feel good about what they're doing rather than you feeling good for them doing it.
Yes, that's exactly
it.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm like Auntie Sarah. What would you tell me to do?
Well, I can really relate to it because, definitely making sure that somebody knows how appreciated they are and how grateful I am. Like so my sister's looking after the babies today while I'm here talking to you. And even that, I'm like, how am I going to make it up to her? How am I going to let her know, like, I'm going to buy her a takeaway tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to, I'm going to message her and I'm going to tell her and I'm going to, and I like even all this week in the run up, I'm like, I'm so grateful to you for doing this. And I know over the weekend I'll be like, thank you so much for like doing it just to make sure she knows but I don't need to do all that so it does feel a little bit, it's for me, it's not necessarily for her, it's actually for me, so I can absolutely relate to that feeling. And I think it's knowing that you have been grateful and it's knowing that you have appreciated it and it rather than worrying, do they know I'm grateful? Yeah. Do they know how much I appreciate it? Because that's, it's adding a worry into it.
So it's just like trust, really. It's like trusting that
so much of it is about
genuine
trust,
authenticity of your gratitude is going to flow through.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you are grateful. Yeah, that's the truth.
I'm grateful to you for being here in the 2-minute break that we had in between. I was like, thank you so much for being here. I know it's hard when you've got kids, but I just love this time with you and you're amazing. Like,
and equally, I was like, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful. Thank you for letting me leave my house like this. Because you want the other person to know. Yeah. And I'll probably message you afterwards and go, thank you so much for having me. Like, I loved
I'll be
it.
The same. And I'll be chasing you up for karaoke at the same time.
Yeah, good.
Obviously.
Karaoke's a must.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, I don't feel like we've concluded anything at all from this chat other than that receiving's hard. But I think, like anything, we've got to notice the stories that we're telling ourselves in that moment. And I think actually going, I do appreciate them. They know I appreciate them. And that's enough. Yeah. That's enough. And actually, what a lovely thing for me to receive. And I'm so grateful and appreciative of that exchange.
We talked about catchphrases on like part 1. And I know it doesn't sound that inspiring, but I would actually almost like summarize everything we've spoken about together as like that's enough. Like a sense I really get from you, like in part 1 and this part 2 is like, that's enough, and the comfort in that, like this, it feels like an exhale being around you.
Oh, and what a lovely thing to say.
No, but it does, and I think that's maybe where the exhale comes from. It's that sense of like, you don't need to be more and have more and do more. You just need to recognize like you're enough. That's enough. Yeah. And like, I guess the inspiring way you do put it is to celebrate yourself. But that to me, in recovery, maybe I'm just entering recovery, who knows? But like recovering people, particularly perfectionists, that's enough is such a relieving phrase to hear.
Yeah, it really is. It makes me think of I don't know if you're familiar with Babe Pig in the City, the film. Yeah. There's a moment in that.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, it is. Stay with me. Where he goes, "That'll do, pig. That'll do." And it's like, like you said, it's a relief. It's a relief to go, yeah, that was quite good, actually. Yeah. Like, I'm quite all right. Yeah. Claudia Winkleman called her book Quite for that reason, that she's just like, it's a lovely settler. It makes you go, yeah, it was quite good. Yeah, that was quite a good fajita. That was, that was quite a good afternoon, actually. Yeah. It's a lovely, and if we can do that, I mean, that comes back to sort of every spiritual practice that's probably ever been written, coming back to what you have, coming back to what's going well, instead of chasing, just going, oh, well, actually, I've done this and I've done this. And that's a huge part of self-celebration and all the stuff that I do is all around that sort of appreciation point. Yeah. I mean, I struggle with gratitude as a thing because I feel like it's a bit too humble. I'm like, I'm so grateful.
So what would you say is the difference between the gratitude, appreciation and celebration?
So I think appreciation is really, I think it comes back to gratitude being more performative. It's more for somebody else. That's the way I feel about it anyway. Yeah. But appreciation is just for me. So I was coming out here today and we were rushing, trying to get everything in the car, trying to remember the 89 things I needed. And I was like, I should take a brolly. Yeah. I should take a brolly, because every time I think I should take a brolly and I don't, I need one. Yeah. So I'm like, just find one. And I was like, where's that? So I was like looking through and I saw it on the hook. Yeah. And I was like, oh, thanks so much. Yeah. And I'm thanking my former self. I'm thanking the guidance of the universe in that moment. Yeah. I'm just thanking, like, appreciating that was an easy thing. Like, what a great little thing. I could have spent 20 minutes looking for that bloody brolly and actually it was just there. Great. Yeah. And that's appreciation to me. Yeah. It's those lovely little moments where you find something easily, or the bus comes quickly, or you know, I mean, there's a million examples.
When the tube doors land right in front of you and you're like,
thank you. It's gorgeous. Or you pick up your necklace and it's not all in knots. Or you need that, you know, you open your drawer and there's a pair of socks you really like and you're like, great, I was going to say today.
Fresh knickers. There's one pair left.
Yeah, divine. Absolutely brilliant. Like all of those and there's a million that happen to us all day, every day. And those little moments, that's appreciation. And I think for a lot of people, they will go, well, that's gratitude. And I think it's just, for me, gratitude became another stick to beat myself with. Yeah.
Have you done your 3 a day? Have you written them down? Have you got your special journal?
Yeah, exactly. All of that, and sort of going, well, were you grateful enough today? Did you count your blessings today? Do you know what I mean? It's sort of aggressive.
If you did, it would solve all your problems.
Yeah, and actually, you just need to be more grateful. Yeah, do you know what I mean? There's some, I don't know. It's become like a little bit. Yeah,
I see what you mean.
It's a bit negative for me, but appreciation. Oh, that feels lovely. I can appreciate being here with you. I can appreciate that I wore a t-shirt because we can't put the aircon on. You know, like I appreciate that Vita filled up my water. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm like, but I don't have to go, Vita, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for filling up my water. Like, thank you. Yeah. You know, I can just appreciate it. I mean, I did thank her. I want to be very clear.
No, you were so rude. She actually just said, fuck you. And then
oh, very nice. Yeah. Oh, very nice. But, you know, like, it doesn't have to be performative. Yeah. It can just be, oh, that's really nice. Oh, that's really lovely. And then that does completely play into your point of that's enough. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
I think that's a beautiful point to end on. Yeah. That's enough. For me, it reminds me of Shrek. That'll do, donkey. Is it?
Is it?
I don't know. They say
something similar. That'll do, pig. That'll do, donkey.
Just pigs, donkeys. We love them all.
use as applicable.
But I do want to express my genuine appreciation. This has just been like the best end to the week. The best. Just like, honestly, you really are just a breath of fresh air. You're just such joy, and like, it's so wonderful to get to be around you. And I know it takes a lot when you've got kids as well to like to do these things. So genuine appreciation.
Thank
you for being here. It's been amazing.
And likewise, thank you so much for having me. I've loved it.